All right, we're live. Hey guys, this is Adam Stevens, wellness coach from St. Louis, Missouri. Welcome to the live show. I missed last week. I was really busy, but I am glad to be back in a groove and doing live shows. This is episode 12. Today's live show is about the importance of modeling healthy lifestyle for our kids. So we're going to call this episode, we'll just call it Becoming a Healthy Parent, right? In addition to that, there's a bunch of stuff. If you follow me on live, if you follow me on Facebook or Insta, then I launched Wellbeing Bootcamp, the live workshop series. I launched that yesterday, and there's going to be a ton of stuff, ton of buzz about that on Facebook and Insta. Just going to be cascading a ton of information and links to get registered for. It's going to be an awesome workshop. Going to be a ton of fun. The whole thing is designed. It's an 8-hour day. It's designed to help you create a plan for your self-care. Self-care and wellness is a huge deal. And without further ado, I'm going to talk about how that affects us as parents, as people that are raising little people. And they're running around and they're very active. And we play a major role in how they will develop and how they will develop their healthy wellness, their self-care traits and their own self-image and their self-esteem and all. So saying that, I thought we would reverse engineer it because we're going to talk about us. We're going to talk about big people. We're going to talk about our habits, and we'll kind of reverse engineer how that cascades down to them, right? So I have a few show notes here. So anyhow, this is the first premise, right? We have got to model these behaviors to our kids, right? Whatever we're doing in our home, however we communicate with our spouse or how we parent or how we process emotions, how we work out, how we do things, how we cope or how we don't cope, that's what's going to be normal for them, right? So we have to always be kind of taking our own pulse and our own temperature of where we're at, right? So we have to focus. This is a hard thing in coaching. I tell this to my coaching clients all the time. We have to start with us. It is very easy, particularly when we're under a lot of stress, to cast ourselves as the good person and project any sort of blame or stress or guilt on other people. So we have a tendency to sometimes under a lot of stress is make the assumption that our stress and our whatever it is, our anxiety, that these things are about other people, our challenges, our health challenges, that they're about other people, they're about external stressors that we're helpless over. Sometimes we can take on a victim mindset, which is pretty big in our culture right now, especially with what's happened with division and divisiveness in what journalism and really smartphones and social media. I say that knowing that we're on social media, what that's kind of done to our culture. Really, I would hope that my work would help people kind of wind it back in and focus on themselves and learn to be happy and content and peaceful within themselves, right? So as a parent, our wellness issues are a big deal. And also with your own self-care, remember, I have a good friend who says this. He always says self-care is spouse care too, because if I'm bringing the best version of myself to the relationship, then my spouse, obviously, when I'm working out, when I'm running, when I'm eating clean, when I'm doing my stuff, when I'm in meditation, I'm doing my prayers, I'm doing everything that I need to do, Katie gets the best version of me. So start with you, right? So we have to model this stuff. If you're not doing it, your kids won't do it and they won't learn to do it. They won't post value on it. And it's a really big deal, right? So another thing I want to talk about is a lot of us, this is a big thing. We'll pursue what we want. We have these insatiable desires for these things we want, whether it's a promotion, a bigger house, more stuff, get to the vacation, get to retirement, whatever it is, whatever we have. We have a lot of wants and future focused goals. I'm a life coach. Future focused goals are a huge deal. I love that stuff. Smart goal planning, motivational interviewing, that's all great stuff. But if we place an emphasis on what we want at the expense of our own needs, we're going to screw ourselves over. So if you're self-sabotaging a lot, you're binging out on sugar, you're not getting enough rest, you're addicted to your phone. A lot of us are addicted to our phone. It just takes, you have to really work on this stuff. If you are doing a lot of this stuff and you're placing your wants ahead of your needs, you're not taking care of your health, your wellness, and yourself, right? If you were to focus strictly on your own well-being, right, which cascades down to your spouse and your kids, if you were to focus on, I'm going to get rest, I'm going to eat enough fruits and vegetables, I'm going to get some vitamin D, I'm going to get some sleep, all this stuff. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to do yoga, whatever you're going to do. If you focused on what you actually need, because believe it or not, you really do need rest. Believe it or not, you need to be alone. You need peace. You need time to completely unplug. And most of us never do. You need that that real strength, and you're going to get more resilience. And actually, I call it your emotional bandwidth. You will get more emotional bandwidth and be able to respond to stress in a much better way if you focus on what you need. So if you're feeling really worn out, super anxious, you've got the imposter syndrome going on, you're in the type A workaholic mode. I was like a really type A, like climb the ladder workaholic person for a long time. It was no fun. I finally figured that out. I'm glad I figured it out now versus later. But anyhow, if you're in that space, I would highly suggest you stop right now, look at your calendar, go on your little calendar on your device, and look at the stuff that needs to happen. Like, because there's age appropriate stuff for your kids, right? You need to show up as a parent. You need to go to work. You need income, right? You need health insurance. Look at the stuff. And if there's anything on your calendar that's not lighting you up, if it's like, oh God, delete that stuff, delete it, or you click delete all future events, make calls, send a text, and set a boundary, and kind of untangle this mess of burnout and poor health, and focus on what you need, not what you want. And what you're going to find is if you'll focus on what you need, a lot of the times when you come back, when you look at your journals, or you just do some, work, or just a little soul searching within yourself, or you talk to people, what you're going to find out is a lot of the stuff you think you want, you might not necessarily want. For instance, a lot of the stuff that I thought I wanted and I had to have, I found out when I got relaxed, recovered from burnout. I took a sabbatical in late 2019. I totally changed what I wanted because I focused on what I needed, and I finally recovered from like years of persistent burnout. So that's my first thing. Pursue what you need versus what you want. If you pursue what you want at the expense of your needs, you'll never have enough. You'll never be content. You'll never truly be well. So that's my first principle of this particular teach. The other one is be with the people who love you as you are. We do this thing in the world where we don't necessarily feel like we possess autonomy or sovereignty or personal agency. We don't self-soothe, and we don't trust ourselves as adults. And we go out there and we seek the external validation, or we seek the praise and the love and the approval of other people at all costs. It becomes a really big deal to us, right? So if we do that, we never really truly step into our role as a full adult. And guess what? You're a big kid and you have the right to be happy. You deserve happiness. You deserve good self-esteem and self-love and rest and self-care. You deserve peace. You deserve well-being, right? There's nothing selfish about that. But a lot of times we end up just interacting, getting involved with stuff, whether it's volunteer work. We get involved in stuff at the expense of our own wellness. And we get involved in stuff and we have to perform, right? That's why for introverts, like I'm an introvert, right? Going to work is hard because you're around people you constantly have to be on. You have to perform, right? The beauty, and we're going to tie this back into what you do with your kids, is being around people that love you exactly how you are. It's not exhausting. When we're on, we have to perform. It's exhausting, and that adds to the burnout. Being around people who love and accept us exactly as we are, it's beautiful. It gives us this, it enhances our emotional bandwidth. It gives us energy, right? So I want to really recommend that you begin to foster that sense within your kids so they know that you're a safe person to be around. You're not judging them. You're not trying to fix them. Believe it or not, they don't owe you anything. It's your job to make sure that they understand that they're loved, they're lovable, and that they can be confident in their skills, and that they can go out and live in the world. And it's a safe world, it's a benevolent world, and that they'll feel good about themselves so they don't need anybody else to reinforce that constantly. And they'll be a person with much more esteem, and they'll actually take care of themselves, right? So you're back to the top of this teach. You need to be modeling this stuff. You need to be doing self-care. You need to be resting, sleeping, stretching, hydrating, all this stuff, right? So kind of winding down here, by doing all this stuff for you and modeling it, you're actually teaching your kids to step into this autonomy role, right? And it's always age appropriate, right? Like we can't expect our kids to be completely autonomous. There's tons of stuff that they're helpless for, and there's boundaries we have to set. We have to set to protect them from stuff that they're not ready for, right? But a lot of us have crummy boundaries ourselves, so we're not able to do all this stuff. So take the time as we wind down this teach, focus on you, build a solid self-care plan. That's why you should come to Wellbeing Bootcamp. The whole point of Wellbeing Bootcamp is to create a self-care plan. You're going to create one especially for you. I'm going to give you a workbook, and it's going to have everything you need to do because I already know what your excuses are because we all have the same excuses. If you take no action, things are excuses. If you make a plan, excuses are just barriers. And remember, there's no barriers you can't get around. You just keep on focusing on, I don't have time, I'm going to make time. I know I'm going to be in a time crunch in the future. I'm going to do everything I need to know to make it easier. I want to do good things. I want my future self to have an easier time because my current self made some plans. I talked about that on one of my live streams several weeks ago. Anyway, as we wind this down, when we're talking about the fundamentals of self-care and why we need to do them and why we need to model them for our kids, I just want you to know some first line stuff. Get hydrated. Water's a big deal. So get hydrated, rest. You need 7 to 9 hours. Some people are biologically short. They can get by on less. And some people are biologically long. They need longer time, right? My first 6 years in healthcare was in a sleep center, and we learned all about this, right? So a lot of people will make the assumption that they're biologically short, especially if they're type A, especially if they're hardcore corporate America, right? Because they're just going to be caught in that mode of chugging coffee, 2 to 3 energy drinks a day, go, 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 get her done. You might not be biologically short. If you're irritable and you're kind of a pain to deal with, you're probably not biologically short. You probably need more sleep. So between 7 and 9 hours, you need mobility and flexibility. I wish more people would focus on that first. One thing I'll say is food first. Always get your food in order, right? You need 5 to 8 servings of fruits and veg. You need good quality stuff, lean proteins, healthy fats, omegas like in salmon. You need olive oil. You need the good stuff, right? Vegetables, fruits, some whole grains. Whole grains are good for some people. Some people they're not if there's inflammation or other stuff, autoimmune stuff. But anyway, you need to focus on stuff. Good quality foods, hydration, flexibility and mobility is a huge thing. So many people are jumping into these advanced level workouts with barbell, and I love barbell training. I love weightlifting and doing heavy lifting. I try and do it at least once a week at the gym. I feel really good. It really calms me down. So many people need to work on their flexibility first, though, because if your body's not moving and you don't have full range of motion, you're going to get hurt. And that's why when you go, I call them jump around plans, where you get the DVD and just jump around in your living room and jump right into this stuff. If you're not mobile and don't have full range of motion first, that's when you tweak your knee or hurt your shoulder. And you will get good conditioning. HIIT workouts are great for conditioning, but you need to start with a basic idea of functional strength and mobility. And you can get that just by stretching every day. You can do basic stuff like primitive squats, planks, down dogs, different forward folds, quad stretches. Like I would say start with stretching, right? So hydrate, start with some stretching and mobility, some light yoga, Pilates, whatever, flow, whatever you want to do. Get mobile, get that full range of motion and add in lighter weight work. And then after 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you could work with a personal trainer. You can go to a personal trainer and say, look, I specifically want to work with you to learn barbell training. And that's when you can learn the bench press, the squat, the deadlift, and those bigger compound lifts that work multiple muscle groups. And that's the stuff that's actually going to improve your strength and your lean muscle tissue and really enhance your metabolism, right? Because if you have more muscle mass on your body, you're going to feel a lot better. Your posture will be better. Your core will be stronger. You're going to have a lot less of these issues with lower back pain and different stuff and pelvic pains and stuff. So hydrate, sleep, flexibility and mobility first, work your way into strength training, and model these behaviors for your kids. If you don't have a self-care rhythm yourself and you're not modeling this stuff to your kids, they're never going to learn it, and they need to learn it. These are massively important things. Our culture has gone insane. I say that if you go to adamstevenscoaching.com and you click on welcome, I have a whole page on that. Our culture has gone insane. People work too much. They're too plugged in. We're in way too much debt. We're not eating the right foods. We're not getting enough sleep. And we're all plugged into this matrix of marketing and these devices, and they're not making people happy. So you have to focus on your own self-care and wellness and model this stuff. So you and your family unit, that's your tribe, that's your core group of people. You need to model this stuff and focus on this stuff so everybody in your house can live and they can be content and peaceful and healthy and well. Wellness is a huge thing. It's something I'm super passionate about. So thanks for tuning in. Be on the lookout this week. Wellbeing Boot Camp. Get registered. It's going to be here in Chesterfield. It's going to be an amazing event. So thanks for consuming my content. Share this if you would. This will be on YouTube. It'll be on the hub at adamstevenscoaching.com. And you have an amazing day, all right?